Hey you guys, it's Reese and Morgan from Sprezzatura Cane Corso, and we are out here with the Bobbsey twins, Jade and Arya. So interesting fact, since we've kind of been, look at her, she's so beautiful. She looks like her mother. That's the fun fact, is that we have been kind of stuck in the house with the dogs the last few days. It's been raining a lot. Like my mulch is like depleted, so we're gonna have to get another load of mulch because it's been raining so much. But we were looking at Arya and we were looking at Katana, and found out the fun fact is that Arya is a carbon copy of her mother. She looks just like her mother, Katana. Where Jade is like a mixture of her mother and her father, like a very good mixture. And Arya has just this phenomenal headpiece. So I guess oh my gosh, they're so fast. Look at that.
Scary.
It is very
Their
scary.
knees are gonna get knocked out if they come any closer.
Yeah, you have to watch yourself with these guys because they're very strong. They can take knees out. Look at that expression.
She does have tighter eyes though.
Yeah, she has very nice tight eyes. Arya's just a beautiful dog, her and Jade. So I've been doing a lot of thinking because that's the only thing you can do during these times is a lot of reflection and thinking. And I'm thinking that depending on how the litter turns out, you guys, because it's going to be two phenomenal litters. One with Jade and Alpha, and the other with, I hope I'm not making you guys dizzy because these girls are fully on it right now. Let me back up. So the first litter, the soonest litter is going to be Jade and Alpha, and then a month later we will be breeding Arya with Preacher. And depending on how they turn out, I might keep out of both just because it's going to be such nice litters. Both litters are going to be phenomenal. And the thing I love about Arya is that she's like a carbon copy of her mother. So, you know, it just, the color, you guys, kind of changes the look. But if you look at both of them side by side, they are carbon copies of one another. And actually, Arya has, I think, a better top line than her mother. And a little more depth to her chest. She's just a beautiful dog. And Jade is just, look at that expression. She's just a workhorse. Jade is taller, longer. She's a workhorse, but she's extremely mentally stable. Like I can have her in the house with the kids and she's completely just calm. Very, very calm around the kids. So you have this working mentality that has the ability to completely just be kind of chilled, and I love that. So it's not turned on all day long. And Arya as well. She's she's very, very patient, very intellectual. She's turned on like Jade, but a little less turned on. She's turned on, but she's a more thinker. She's a very, very good thinker. Yeah, very good thinker. So it's gonna be two phenomenal litters. I still have availability. I'm gonna get my website up. I know I keep saying it. I'm like the best procrastinator. So I've told you guys I'm an artist, right? And when you're an artist, you just you're very good at procrastinating. So Morgan and I decided, okay, we finally need to just publish this website. So it's not that we haven't been working on it, because we have been working on it. It's just that, like, we needed to add in the application part and just do small things like that. So we're gonna finally complete it, publish it so people can get on and send the applications. And if you guys are really interested in puppies, the biggest thing you can do is, after I get this application up, is make sure you follow up with a phone call. That's how I know that you're serious and we can talk. And you can put down your your fee, which it's a non-refundable holding fee for a spot that guarantees your position with litters and upcoming litters. So that's what we do here. So I will never just approve you online. I have to talk to you on the phone to absolutely get a feel for who you are and make sure that as the customer, we are on the same page, breeder and customer. Because I stick with my buyers for the lifetime of the dog. That's my policy. So we have to get along. We have to be on the same page because communication is a big part of my program. I don't just drop you after you buy my dog. I keep up with you. And I keep up with the dog. And I just want to make sure they're cared for. And at any time of that dog's life, I want to make sure that we still are communicating just in case things happen and you can't have your dog or for whatever reason, because life happens. I get it. You have people who they separate, they go their separate ways. The dog is kind of like collateral in it, and even though that's not the fairest to the dog to get dropped like that, it happens. And those are things that we cannot predict. So I will always take my dogs back at any age. Doesn't matter if they're 12 years old. I will take my dogs back. Oop, Arya's kind of...
It's okay, big baby.
So anyway, you guys, I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest that we are going to be publishing this week. And we're going to leave that information in the description box, the website link. And like I said, if you're interested and you're very serious, fill out an application, follow up with a phone call. Look at that. Phenomenal. And it's only going to get better. Alpha has a very nice front from Custodian Nose Lines, which are, they're turned on too. Those dogs are turned on, but they're calm. And it's going to be very exciting. So I think we're going to leash the girls up because I want to show you guys what Morgan and I have been doing in the front. Because, you know, we've been into some things lately. So let's lead them up. There's a lot of people walking.
Come here, baby. Look at the baby.
So there's a lot of people walking, and these girls are turned on. They won't go out in the road, but they'll, you know, they'll do their little guardian thing. So
Over here, there's different varieties of tomato. I wasn't here when they planted it, but Reese can tell you the types that we have.
yeah, so we have a Black Prince.
It's like, what are those? It smells
A
suspicious.
Cherokee purple, a Better Boy, a golden something or another. I think it's called a golden Russian. And then something else. I don't know what that other one is. That last one is let me see. It's a German Johnson.
German Johnson.
The German Johnson. Nope.
And then she also planted some daisies.
Yeah, these are English daisies. I got them at Lowe's on a good deal at $1 a piece. They're not like the prettiest things in the world,
But they'll definitely get
Right
better
now.
with time.
you know, they'll get better. They were not looking good. They don't look too hot right now, but anyway, so I made the mistake and I planted my tomatoes in too shady of a spot. And then I acquired more tomatoes, and tomatoes need space and a lot of sun to bear their fruit. So we're actually going to build or purchase a raised garden bed and move the tomatoes over. The Black Prince will probably keep it right here because it's already looks like it has some fruit flowers. And I don't
Which is
want to
this
shock
one.
the plant. So we're gonna move 4 of them. Garden cribs, guys. Cribs, garden edition.
I think, like I said earlier, I think we should make a sub-channel, gardening with Reese and Morgan. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
She's in charge of the outdoor plants, and I'm really good with indoor
We
plants.
call it urban gardening. Urban,
Urban
guys,
gardening.
I don't know what these are. Maybe someone can tell me. I tried to get rid of them, and they're really hard to dig out. So like here they are in all their glory. Get Arya out of that.
She seems to be careful with them. Come on.
I have some blue hosta right there.
Where's that little thing right
Morgan can tell you about my purple flowers.
there? So she brought them, and we were trying to figure out like the plants. Turns out these are catnip.
Yeah, I thought they were like lavender.
We're just gonna work what we have. Eventually, we'll get lavender, but
Yeah, so we have another type of hosta. I don't know what these are. I got them on sale. They look kind of rough right now. I have a purple iris right there.
which one?
Just the flowers.
Okay.
My rose tree, that's a Jackson Perkins rose tree. Absolutely gorgeous. It just gets better every year. And there's a lot of flower buds, a lot of flower bud action going on.
Oh yeah, look at those.
So on the back I have some type of golden shrub. To the left of that is a peony plant, Japanese peony.
How big did the golden shrubs get?
They get pretty big. I think the golden shrub may be as big as my big shrub right there.
What are you doing, big baby?
And then, of course, more hosta. Over here, another peony plant, a Sarah B. I'm just gonna call it a Sarah B. Barred Heart, I think it's called. Peony. And then I bought some flowers that I think they're carnations. They could be, they could not be. I don't know, guys. This is urban gardening.
We're definitely gonna give you more updates on how these are.
But
right
anyway,
now,
this is the mulch island.
yeah. Right now they're kind of in a little rough spot, but I think as time goes by, definitely since the spring, it's gonna get better. And we'll definitely give you more.
Ivy in a pot right there too. You can show them the ivy. Yeah.
We're gonna give you guys more updates on it as time goes on. We might add some succulents in there too. Maybe not in the mulch garden, but you know.
Yeah. Kind of wanted to give Jade and her sister some time out here. I look so rough. I know everybody wants to see an R&R. Maybe we'll do it in time. Rachel's kind of busy right now, so we haven't been able to coordinate, but I think it's sometime in the future. And we'll give everybody like a good few days to prepare for the R&R, so nobody that wants to watch will miss it. So I have some here, take her. I have some interesting things to talk about right now. So some exciting news, you guys, is that at the end of this video, I'm gonna include an updated picture or 3 pictures of the puppy.
Jade.
Look at her. Look at the structure. The structure of the puppy.
I really want to let them go, but I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm afraid too. These girls, they're turned on. So, and we haven't really worked on recall lately like we usually do. We just kind of been lounging around, and when you're in quarantine, yeah. So we have a Cane Corso. One thing that they're stubborn, and so you constantly have to work with the Corso to make sure that they understand when you say it, you mean it. They have to do it. When you let up a little bit, and you don't practice it and do it and implement it into their everyday lives, they're stubborn and they'll try to get their way. And
they'll remember what you said, but since you hadn't worked on them in a while, they kind of don't take it lightly.
Yeah, well, they don't take it serious. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And when you have one that's turned on like these girls,
Arya, leave it.
Look at them. They both perked up at the same time. They're both very, very turned on dogs.
Arya.
And you haven't worked on it in a while. You haven't really done it, the recalling as often.
You can't do that.
They know exactly what you want. They know exactly what you want. They're not dumb. That headpiece. They just refuse to do it at the moment. So
She's sad because she can't bark.
because she can't bark. So the other exciting news is that, as everybody knows, since a Tempo acquired an African Gray to their pack. Was talking to Rachel, and you guys, I had birds growing up. I had the budgies, little parakeets, and which, don't sleep on the parakeets. They're pretty amazing. But we had parakeets, and we had a lovebird. I think it's called like an indigo lovebird. And we had those birds until they died. So anyway, which feels like a short time, but it is when you have the smaller varieties. So anyway, you guys, because I had those birds in the past, I've always thought about getting another bird, and I've been talking about it for, I would say, the last 6 years, but it hadn't quite been the right time. I had babies, and I got into the Corso, and I was working too as a groomer full time, so it just hadn't been the right time for a while. And so I want to get a bird. And we were talking, and in that conversation, I told her that I wanted to go ahead and find some birds, which now they're very hard to find for whatever reason. The bird trade is just not what it used to be. You could find birds every and anywhere. And now they're quite rare to come by, very uncommon to come by. Parrots, which I'm older now, and I'm like, okay, I want to graduate to something bigger than a lovebird. So I decided that looking at some birds that I either wanted a Hans macaw, or a African Gray, or some sort of cockatoo, which the cockatoos are loud and very animated and very affectionate, but they require a whole lot of handling. So I kind of X that off my list. So I asked Rachel if there were any parrots, because they're hard to kind of come by right now, in her area. And she's like, yeah, there's a breeder like an hour away, and they had some, what are those? The rose-breasted cockatoos in the past. And so she called up there, and she's talking to them, and Rachel also had birds in the past. And she kind of was very excited to find out that they had African Grays. So she decided to jump on an African Gray, kind of the spur of the moment, even though she was supposed to be calling for me. And they had the Grays that they were all sold out after Rachel put her deposit down on her mail. So there were none left for me. So the exciting news is that Sprezzatura Cane Corso is also getting a bird. And I'm kind of, I think I've settled on the African Gray just because it suits my lifestyle currently. So after I get my mail and we have a couple of litters here, I think I'm going to just go ahead and put a deposit down on one, which I did find a Hans macaw, and I was put on a wait list for one of those, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and get the African Gray, from the same breeder that Rachel got her African Grays, because that lady's temperaments on her African Grays are phenomenal. So that's what we're doing. So anyway, I thought I'd let you guys know what's going on, give you some big news, and I guess we will see you guys later. You have a nice day, guys.
Achilles is really getting into it.